Fortnite Season 2 is almost here, and it looks like the island is about to turn into a full-blown multiverse. Massive collabs, high stakes for this season, new factions, there's just so much going on. Honestly, Epic has built up even more hype this time than they did for the start of Season 1. For the last few days, Epic's has been keeping the community on its toes. On top of all the teasers and trailers popping up everywhere, they literally just dropped the official trailer this morning, giving us a sneak peek at a ton of new details. First things first, we finally know what's causing all the chaos. It's the reality rifts that Dark Voyager created during his travels. We actually got a look at one of those realities in the cinematic. This trailer is all about the lore, featuring the Cubehead who's currently hunting for the 0 Point shards. That's why we're seeing this villain crew square off against the Seven, who are slowly but surely making their way back to the island. The trailer kicks off with a bang inside the Voyager's ship. We've seen it from the outside all season, but this is the first time we've gotten a peek at what's inside. It could even be a new location for Season 2, which would be totally sick. As we already know, Dark Voyager has been working with the last reality since the start of the season. Just like back in Chapter 2 with the Cube Queen, they've got an army of soldiers, the Elite Intruders, who actually dropped as skins ages ago. These guys are basically small Kevin-style cubes wearing humanoid armor, which we know from the second style of those skins. A small detail that's easy to miss is that they're gold, which suggests they're higher rank than the Chapter 2 versions, and will probably be a new style that gets added at the start of Season 2, though I hope they aren't a separate skin. I'm also betting there'll be rival bots that pop up to defend their boss, the Dark Voyager, and hopefully they'll all be chilling inside the ship. Their weapons actually look like two new Season 2 guns, and while they seem similar, one has a strap and a llama sticker, and the other doesn't. Now that we've checked out the army, the million-dollar question is why Fishstick has so much knowledge. The Voyager has him kidnapped, trying to squeeze out the location of the 0 Point shard. My first thought was that Fishstick was like the Peely from Chapter 5, super knowledgeable, and that's why they snatched him. But the most obvious answer is that this Fishstick is originally from Reality 7021, which is where a 0 Point shard ended up. While the Voyager searches for this reality on his screen, we can see a ton of interesting details, like how the fish shares DNA with regular fish, and that they all come from the same reality. On the fragment screen, we see 3 of 7. That last number is probably the total number of shards scattered across the universe, and this one is either the third they've counted or the third one they're missing. As for the lighthouse blueprint, anyone paying attention to the story has already clocked that it's the same one we saw on the loading screen, which means we still have 2 more spots to travel to. One of them is the ice castle, which they showed in first trailer, and while the fragment wasn't in that video, the screen confirms it's there. The other spot looks like a desert or something. The last screen shows the Slurp sprites who arrived in Fortnite Chapter 6. In the next scene, the ship jumps to the new reality where the new Battle Pass skin is fishing. This is where the ship starts to suck up everything below it, which is Coral Castle. This location first appeared in Chapter 2 Season 3, but it looks like it's native to this world, and its inhabitants are all aquatic skins we've already seen in the game. Plus, there are several disguised Joneses who have somehow learned to breathe underwater. The trailer wraps up with the new skin landing on the ship, and the Voyager orders his soldiers to grab the squid, while he gets mad at Fishstick for ratting out where they were. That's how the new character gets to our reality and island, but theoretically they'll be trapped by the Voyager. So, we'll have to see how they explain the breakout in the upcoming videos. I'll give you my theory right now. One of those soldiers is actually Hope, or another good guy who's currently undercover in the Dark Voyager's army. That would explain why one SMG has a llama sticker and the other doesn't. It makes more sense than them being 2 different guns, though I wouldn't rule that out. I'm also fairly sure both the new skin and Fishstick will be NPCs next season, since the video ends with a message that the Fishstick will return. Oh, and everyone already knew this was a Marvel reference, but with this second scene, literally copying what they did in the first trailer, and what Marvel does with every trailer, it's 100% confirmed that they're pulling a Doomsday. I've already shared my theory that it would be awesome if we saw Marvel characters pop up over the next few months, leading to a collaboration in December when the movie comes out, maybe even another season or a mini-event with Marvel. The biggest question after seeing this trailer is whether Coral Castle will make it to the island. Everything suggested that the 3 zones with a fragment would be the new locations for Season 2. But now, after seeing this trailer, I've got my doubts because the area just seems to get drained of water, and that's it. Still, I figure the 3 zones will somehow be generated based on the image. So if I had to put money on it, I'd say yes, Coral Castle is coming next season. Circling back to the trailers, these aren't coming out randomly. They're following the end of season teaser that Fortnite posted a few days ago, the one right here. We've already gone through several phases. The March 9th and March 12th teasers are the 2 trailers we've seen, and the March 7th and 8th ones were the in-game events where the ship left and returned to the island. So, before Season 2, the only thing left is the event. We might get a mini trailer for that, but we'll most likely see an in-game event. Leakers have already shared the time, which I'll leave for you guys, and they're calling it a mini event, not a full-blown event. The most likely scenario is the leak from 3 weeks ago where the ship fires at the 0 point to open a bunch of portals. But the really interesting stuff is going down on March 18th, the day before the new season. After seeing all the trailers and skins and everything, we'll probably get the final trailer, either a gameplay trailer or a more extended story trailer that's not just focused on a couple of characters. Then, of course, on the 19th, we'll get the new season, and the new storyline, which honestly looks totally awesome, will kick off. If you're not totally caught up on the lore, you can do it right now. Want to know why the Visitor has been chasing Voyager across different dimensions? Or who our cube-headed buddy is actually working for? Believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but let us take it from the top. You might not have noticed, but this season turned out to be the most lore-heavy one we have had in the last 2, maybe even 3 chapters. When was the last time we got voice lines?
She's stubbornly pursuing the Dark Voyager.
And more than 3 mini-events in a single season. And they all tie directly back to that original storyline created by Donald Mustard. The Visitor, the Rocket, the 0 point, and some sketchy suits. Basically, we are swimming in lore and new season info. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and plug my creator code in the item shop if you want to support the channel. In the latest update, a rocket launch pad popped up right near the canyon. It is pretty hard to miss, and it showed up without any countdown timers or heads up whatsoever. So a massive shout out to our beloved Epics for throwing us that curveball. Though, if you are subscribed to my second channel, you were totally ready for it, since it has everything a Fortnite player needs, including the full event recording. Anyway, even if you have already seen the event, you need to watch it again closely, because this is far from your run-of-the-mill event. I do not know about you guys, but this event gave me some massive Chapter 1 Season 4 flashbacks. And honestly, it is super poetic, because that original Visitor launch from the island is what kickstarted the storyline that had millions of people hooked for at least 3 chapters. But a few years after our favorite creative director Donald Mustard left, the Fortnite lore honestly started falling off hard. And just when it seemed like there was zero hope for a comeback of the original engaging storyline, the Visitor rocket suddenly touches down on the island out of left field. And it did not just happen off screen. It was a full-blown mini-event, symbolically mirroring the original rocket launch. Why am I pushing this whole symbolism thing so hard? Because it would have been a cakewalk for Epic to just spawn another meteor on the map, or a pre-built Visitor rocket sitting on a pad. Instead, they actually put in the elbow grease and recreated the Season 4 rocket event almost play for play, just with a landing instead of a launch. The fact that the driving force behind the story, both back then and right now, is the very first member of the mysterious group known as the Seven, is a massive hint that the OG storyline has not just returned, it has evolved into a new phase. What is also interesting is that the Visitor flew through a red rift that opened up in the sky a couple of weeks ago. The kicker here is that this is the exact same rift that appeared after the rocket launch in the OG Season 4. Turns out, this alien has zero connection to the original Chapter 1 reality. He came from a parallel dimension and a completely different timeline. So, this is not the guy we used to know. It is an alternate version of him. So drop an F in the comments for our OG old-timer who started this whole mess, because his spot just got taken by a doppelganger from another world. So it turns out that when he launched the rocket in Fortnite OG Season 4, dude deliberately took off to hunt down the Dark Voyager. According to him, he has been hunting the Cubehead for a long time now, and along the way, he has visited dozens of dimensions that Voyager turned into absolute wastelands. And now, finally, this wild goose chase has brought them both to our island. By the way, I wonder if the skins for the Visitor and the rest of the 7 will hit the item shop? Well, just to be ready for when they drop, make sure you have got my creator code locked in your shop. Anyway, right after landing, the Visitor was immediately greeted by our squad, the Order, Jones, and Hope. But even though the first contact was pretty chill, a conflict of interest quickly flared up between the teammates. From the new voice lines, it is clear that Order wants to attack the Voyager right now, while the Visitor, who has already seen what the Cubehead is capable of, says that is a terrible idea. He even compared the Order to her sister, the Imagined, who sacrificed herself battling Gino. Looks like those words really struck a nerve with the Order, because after that convo, she went off to dig up dirt on the Dark Voyager solo. Speaking of the Visitor, this dude does not just talk.
She's stubbornly pursuing the Dark Voyager. Alone. In my reality, her sister was the impetuous one.
I can hear you, Viz.
Which is more than we can say about our old bro, but he is out here barking orders at everyone. He totally put Hope in her place, telling her she has zero clue about what is actually going on. Maybe in his reality, he was not just a member, but the actual leader of the 7. And since we are on the topic of voices, they got Ben Starr to voice the Visitor. But what is way more important is that this new Visitor knows a whole lot more than anyone else, and he is not shy about rubbing it in. For example, he literally chews out the Order, and the rest of the 7 for leaving the 0 point unguarded after taking down the Imagined Order. And if you think about it, he is dead right. That exact decision is what led the Nothing to discover the 0 point and kick off its invasion, meaning all the chaos we have been cleaning up for the last few chapters is basically the fallout from just one single mistake by the 7. Right out of the gate, the Visitor got straight to business. And honestly, the funniest part is that he does not sugarcoat a single thing. He straight up calls everyone fools for thinking it was a good idea to just leave the 0 point unattended. And he is right. He did not just bring a rocket with him either. Somehow, he found Amy and shoved her right into his ship's onboard computer. Though, to be real with you, it is probably not our Amy. Since the Visitor is from an alternate reality, Amy probably is too. So for now, it is a sick cameo, but nothing more. From what I am gathering, Order, Jones, and Hope are sitting tight, waiting for someone else to answer their SOS. Meanwhile, Order went totally off the grid to dig up some dirt on the Voyager. And honestly, it paid off big time. She managed to intercept a seriously juicy message. Turns out, the Voyager has someone covering his back, and Cubehead promised this boss that he would not drop the ball. What exactly is he not dropping the ball on? That is the million-dollar question right now. But the sheer fact that the Voyager answers to someone else changes the whole ballgame. It means he is not the big bad, just a henchman. And whoever is calling the shots could be way more dangerous. While we are racking our brains trying to figure out who is pulling the strings, the Voyager is not just sitting on his hands. He clearly does not have time to worry about the Visitor right now, because he is about to secure the 4th 0 point shard. With 4 shards, he will have enough juice to power up the 0 point core. When that happens, reality rifts are going to tear open all over the island, which is exactly how the Voyager plans to get his hands on the remaining fragments. The crazy part is that the clues for this plan have been staring us in the face since the very start of the season. Remember that Voyager loading screen? Back then, we were scratching our heads, wondering what those locations were and why Cubehead was watching them like a hawk. Well, it looks like that map was literally marking the 0 gates, where the rest of the 0 point shards are hiding. Sure, the locations do not line up absolutely perfectly, but I would bet my bottom V-Bucks epic planned it exactly like this. Based on what we know, all of this is laying the groundwork for a massive mini live event at the end of the season. Think back to Chapter 2 Season 5, when Jonesy went crazy with the portals and dragged every hunter he could find onto the island, which basically sent the 0 point into a total meltdown. We might be looking at a similar portal situation to transition us into Season 2. Except this time, Jonesy is not the one running the show. It is the Dark Voyager taking orders from his mystery boss. At the same time, Fortnite just dropped the very first teaser for Season 2 online. It showed off a winter biome with a 0-point shard floating in the air, and Order reaching out to it. But the real kicker here is that this is not just some random snowy area, it is the actual Ice King Castle. We do not know yet if this castle is parked on the Ice Moon or chilling in a totally different reality. We will find out super soon when Season 2 drops, since the Zero Gate on the north side of the island is going to lead straight to it. It is wild because they actually teased that the Ice King had a 0-point shard a while ago. During the teaser for the Ice Storm event back in the OG season, if you squinted real hard, you could spot a blurry, pulsing 0-point shard at the bottom. From now on, we gotta analyze every single short Fortnite posts like we are the FBI. I am guessing that when the new season launches, these portals are going to bring us at least 3 brand new locations: up north, out west, and down southeast. That means the north is getting the Ice King Castle, which is giving serious Polar Peak vibes from Chapter 1. It might even be a modernized version of it, and it is totally possible that each of these new spots will have a brand new boss guarding a 0-point shard. A couple of months ago, leaks actually surfaced saying the Ice King would be a boss we could morph into. Now, all the puzzle pieces are finally snapping together. That just leaves the mystery of the Voyager. Who exactly is the head honcho of a guy flying around in a last reality ship with a cube on his head? I narrowed it down to 3 top suspects. Suspect number 1, and the most obvious pick, is the Nothing. If Cubehead is working for the glory of the last reality, then his boss has to be the leader of that whole cosmic gang. Makes sense. But let us be real, that would be way too predictable and honestly a little boring. So I doubt it goes down like that. Suspect number 2 is a total curveball. Remember, the Cube Queen and the Origin are not just enemies, they have serious history. The Origin is not just a member of the Seven, he is the former Cube King. What if, theoretically, after the Seven fell apart, the last reality fixed the Origin up? Epic actually has concept art of the Origin rocking his Cube King look, and this would be the perfect time to drop it in-game. Plus, imagine the drama. Order and the Visitor run into their old buddy, and suddenly realize he is the mastermind behind the whole thing. Suspect number 3. What if the Dark Voyager has been sabotaging the last reality this entire time, and is actually working for the one guy who knows literally everything about the 0-point? I am talking about Gino. Think about it. How else does the Voyager know so much about how the 0-point works, how to put it back together, and how to harness its power? Even the Cube Queen and the Herald, who were direct messengers of the Nothing, did not have that kind of inside info. They just smashed through everything like a wrecking ball. But the Voyager operates completely differently, like someone gave him a masterclass. Let me remind you, the Voyager has traveled through thousands of realities, and Gino, as we know from the comic books, never actually died. He got atomized and basically started putting himself back together immediately. So, it is entirely possible that the guy everyone wrote off as dead is very much alive and pulling the strings.